Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with another Halo Flashpoint video for you. Today, I am just going to do a short and simple explanation on how to resolve attacks and saves in Flashpoint. Attacks and saves are the same across the board in Flashpoint, so this will work regardless of how you're attacking or being attacked. First up, always keep in mind that the game starts on a base of 3d8 dice for a majority of rolls. You then modify this with extra dice depending on benefits and advantages you may have, or reduce it for disadvantages. The base stats for the models are never modified. A 3+ to hit is always a 3+ to hit. As a reminder, this game uses a headshot, otherwise known as exploding dice system, whereby if you roll an 8 on any dice test, for each 8 you roll, you may immediately roll an extra dice into your pool, which can then trigger another headshot. This counts for both attacking and saving, and any other types of roll, for the most part. As you move through the steps, look at the shoot or save stat for the models. This will be represented on the unit card as either RG, ranged or shooting, FI, fight or melee, or SV, survive or save, and try to keep it in mind. With that out of the way, I will use a basic ranged attack as an example, using everyone's favorite sniper, the Deadeye, and a Mark 7 as the defender. The Deadeye shoot stat shows it shoots on a 3+, meaning it needs to show a 3 or higher on any of its shoot dice after rolling to have a success. The Mark 7 has a save stat of 5+, so must show 5 or higher on any of its dice to have a success. You determine if you have line of sight to an enemy model with how these models are positioned. Yes, I do indeed have a line of sight to the Mark 7. From here, you declare the attack, what weapon you will use, and if applicable, what firing mode you will use. For the Deadeye, the model is equipped with a basic DMR by default, and so that is what I will be using for my attack example. So I'll declare I am using the Deadeye with the DMR at the enemy Mark 7. Keep in mind, the enemy does have fast transition as a keyword, which would allow it to declare and shoot 2 different weapons it may be equipped with. For this scenario, we will say it does not have a second weapon. It is easiest from here to then take into account any environmental effects that may be affecting the dice pool. This would be height advantage, +1 d8 for being higher than the target enemy model. Clear shot advantage, +2 d8 for a completely unobstructed view of the target enemy model. See my other video for more details about this. And friendly fire, -2 dice for shooting into a cube containing a friendly model. From the position of these models, the Deadeye does gain both high ground and clear shot. Once you have determined your environmental benefits, you should then move on to your model and weapon advantages. The Deadeye has no specific inbuilt advantages to a shoot action dice pool, but keep in mind, some models may have an inbuilt advantage, such as weight of fire, which would allow the re-rolling of failed dice rolls. If crouched, by taking the crouched action anytime prior to the shoot action, the Deadeye also gains +1 shoot dice. For the purpose of this example, we will say the Deadeye is crouched. The DMR the Deadeye is equipped with does have optics keyword. This adds +1 dice and allows for headshots on 7s and 8s. Instead of the normal 8s only. While you are determining all your various advantages, your opponent's enemy's model should be doing the same. This is something to remember, that almost all attack and save rolls in the game are opposed rolls. That means that they both happen simultaneously. So your opponent determines if they have any advantages to saving against ranged attacks. For our example, the enemy Mark 7 will also be crouched, and so it gets +1 d8 dice against range attacks. Once both players determine their advantages, it is best to declare them to your opponent, and resolve any disagreements before proceeding. This will more than likely come from the clear shot modifier. At this time, if there are any disagreements, try your best to resolve them. Ask for outside help, or simply roll a d8 dice with a 50-50 chance. Before rolling dice, players may now spend any number of extra dice command dice to add any additional dice to the dice pool. Keep in mind, you must declare and do this before rolling any dice. For our scenario, the Deadeye's player will spend 1 dice to do so, but the enemy Mark 7 will decline. So in summary, the Deadeye model will be gaining the following modifiers to its shoot action with the DMR. Base, 3 dice. High ground, 1 dice. Clear shot, 2 dice. Optics, 1 dice and headshots on 7 and 8s. Crouched, 1 dice. Extra dice command dice, 1 dice. Total dice for initial dice pool, 9 dice. The Mark 7 gains the following dice. Base, 3 dice save. Crouched, 1 dice against range attacks. Total save dice for the Mark 7 equals 4 dice. With the dice pools determined, the players now roll their dice and resolve any rerolls and headshots. In this scenario, neither player has access to any reroll keyword for this example. But the Deadeye has scored 1-7 and 1-8, leading to 2 headshots, and so they roll 2 more dice into the pool, getting 1 more 7, and so roll 1 more dice, which misses. The Mark 7 scored a single 8, and so headshots 1 more dice into their save pool, but get no more. Players now determine how many successes they have, and remove any fails from the pools. All up, the Deadeye scored 8 successes for its attack. The Mark 7 scored 2 successes for its save. Players now determine how many hits are assigned to the enemy model's HP. Firstly, you take into account saves. Because the Mark 7 got 2 saves, the Deadeye's attack dice is reduced by 2. For keeping track, it is best to physically remove the dice as you proceed through these steps. That leaves the Deadeye with 6 successes. You then move on to opponent's shields. If your attack has energy shield depleters, it is at this stage you will trigger and automatically deplete some of the enemy's shields. The Deadeye has no ESD, and the Mark 7 has 2 active shields, so the Deadeye's successes are reduced by 2 more, and the Mark 7's shields are depleted. Flip the tokens over on the unit card to show this. That leaves the Deadeye with 4 successes left. You then move on to armor and armor piercing. Armor is shown as AR on the unit cards, and this is a flat reduction to incoming damage. Armor piercing, shown as AP on the weapon stat lines, will reduce the effectiveness of a model's armor for the purposes of a single attack, but has no ongoing effect. The Deadeye's DMR has no AP, and the Mark 7's armor has full effect and reduces the incoming damage by 2 more, leaving the Deadeye with 2 successes left. Finally, we move on to assigning wounds. With 2 successes left, the Mark 7 takes 2 wounds which are placed on its unit card. However, the DMR has the keyword Lethal 1, which increases any wounds dealt by an additional 1, so the Mark 7 actually takes 3 wounds. The Mark 7 has 4 total HP, and so can only take 1 more wound before it is destroyed and removed from the board. And that is how you resolve a basic ranged attack. To break it down super simply, try to keep this in mind. Declare legal attacks. Determine advantages and disadvantages. Spend command dice before rolling dice. Both players roll their attacks and saves. Resolve rerolls and headshots. Resolve saves versus attack successes. Resolve shields, keeping in mind energy shield depleters. Resolve armor versus armor piercing. Assign wounds, keeping in mind lethal. This method will work for pretty much any attack and save in the game, with different advantages depending on the type of attack. Assault, or melee, has a variety of different advantages and disadvantages to keep in mind. There are some types of attack that resolve slightly differently, such as explosive and grenades, and I will be making a separate video for that. But with that, I will bring this video to an end. I hope you found this clear and easy to follow, and it helps you learn this exciting and fast-paced game. Leave a comment if you have any more questions or would like to request an explanation about another aspect of Flashpoint. It would help me out if you would consider doing the whole YouTube stuff, liking, subbing, commenting, and so on. Remember to remember reach, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.